afternoon. It's the Pit Stop. I'm Stephen McCollum, and I'll be looking back, of course, like we do every week here, looking back at last weekend's IndyCar. Up there at the Grand Prix on the Indy road course, NASCAR racing at Watkins Glen. Then we go through the news of the racing world and then look ahead to this weekend's NASCAR racing over at Dover there as well on the old 1 mile concrete track there at Dover as well, leading into the Cup Series All-Star race as well coming up on this Sunday. Follow us at the Pit Stop Talk on X. Catch the shows on YouTube. You can find those at TME Media AZ, even over at Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media, where you can find it. For those of you that don't like YouTube and prefer the Rumble side of things, all hosting our on-demand content as well. You want to follow us and subscribe at TME Media AZ as well on YouTube. We're going to be doing some live things on all of our shows, as well as doing some away from show stuff as well that you want to find on there. You can also find this program on your favorite podcast system. Just search the Pit Stop Talk in Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, whatever, Podchaser, whatever you listen to, or just search the Pit Stop with Steven, and it comes right up for you there as well. You guys know where to find us. We see the ratings on there. We appreciate it, of course, on demand at Robot TV as well. But before we can look ahead to the Dover NASCAR racing this weekend, well, let's look back at last weekend's racing, the Indy Grand Prix, Watkins Glen. Well, first we're going to talk a little bit about IndyCar. Christian Lundgaard actually gets the win there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Kind of a shocker for him to get that win. Well, it's his first IndyCar victory in over about 3 years time frame. That's why it's the shocker. Been a while. This victory did end a 47-race winless drought for Lundgaard. He did become the third McLaren driver to win at the IndyCar Series. He, of course, joins Johnny Rutherford, but more recently, Pato O'Ward as well, getting that win. Lundgaard, he did start fourth in this race. He took the lead for good with the pass of David Malakis. That was on lap 68. Those two drivers did race side by side through turns 3 and 4 before Lundgaard eventually slipped through a small opening, and I mean small opening, in turns 5 and 6 chicane, leading to the backstretch of the road course. It was a fantastic pass. You don't believe me? I just describe it. You want to see it? Here it is. Indy won the pass.
Full run down the straight, tucked up under his rear wing. Christian Lundgaard looking for the lead on David Malukas, who goes to defend. Lundgaard will have to go the long way round the outside, and they stay as they were.
He has made him burn so much push to pass.
Slow on exit. Here comes Lundgaard round the outside of David Malukas for the lead of the race. Wonderful defensive drive from Malukas. They almost touch, and Lundgaard has the lead. Stunning.
Can't cut it any closer than that without contact and disaster.
Small bobble out of turn 2 there for Malukas. Set up that opportunity for one of the bravest places.
I mean, he has the lead there. Lundgaard does, and he gets it and extends that lead out. But what an unbelievable pass there through the chicane. And almost touching. Could have been fatal for both drivers there. But Lundgaard, he pitted for the final time 1 lap earlier than Malakis did back on lap 65. He pulled away over the closing laps, as you kind of saw there after the pass. He did that as well. Malakis actually led a race-high 27 laps in this race, which was about 4 more than Lundgaard did. He fell just short of earning his first career victory, as battling it out there as well with Lundgaard. This race was, though, kind of had a lot of issues here from the start. Started pretty early in this race as we got to that finish. Alex Palau did lead into turn 1 as the pole sitter at the start of this race. Behind him, Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Felix Rosenquist, Joao Colette there were collected in a chain reaction accident as the 25-car field, well, it funneled, right? It goes into that front straightaway, and it goes into that tight turns into 1 and 2, and a big mix-up there in turn 1 early on. Well, that incident there helped Malakis jump from 5th to 2nd, and it triggered the first of 3 full-course cautions throughout this race. and it caused damage on some of these cars, and they weren't able to be competitive afterwards on a bunch of guys that were expected to have good days there at the Indy road course. Many teams began to adopt different strategies, alternate strategies to their day, all to cope with the early field scuffle. And then entering for tires and fuel, some guys were doing that right as the pits opened on just lap 3. Is strategies? You had a strategy going into this race. Lap 1 happens, and you just tear it all up and decide to do something else out there. Then we went on going, and the race turned on its head back on lap 22 as well. Alexander Rossi, and they're making some changes here because of this. Alexander Rossi stopped along the pit wall near that yard of brick start-finish line there at Indy on that front straightaway. He stopped with a mechanical problem. Many cars had actually started to pit before the full course yellow happened, so that threw a lot of guys off that were on pit road with that mechanical stop there by Alexander Rossi. Well, my race winner, Kyle Kirkwood, his chances at contending for victory, well, his last pit service ended any dream of winning this race. That was on lap 39. A slow right front wheel change, and slow is being generous. It was a tortoise speed. It resulted in a 15.2 second stop there on pit road. Never could we obviously recover after that as well. So, and NASCAR's making they reviewed the Rossi stop there and how they could handle that different. So you'll see some changes coming up here in IndyCar based off of if that happens again on that racetrack there. So let's check out the drive to the checker here for Lundgaard as well. Indy 2, please.
McLaren, it will be his first victory in Papaya. Christian Lundgaard with another wonderful drive, his first win for McLaren, and it comes in Indianapolis.
He passed that finish line before the second place driver got around that final turn.
Awesome, bud. Awesome. Proud everyone.
Lundgaard is Danish, by the way. First
David
win in
Malukas'
over 3 years. Does his little
Thanks,
circuit
guys.
here with his hand up and, dominating, pulling away there after he did pass. Of course, Malukas there, as we showed you earlier. Let's check out the IndyCar Championship points here as well in this race. Alex Palou still leading, 237 points. Kyle Kirkwood there, even though he had that falter on pit road, still in second place at 210 points. David Malukas there kind of just holding, hasn't gotten a win yet on the IndyCar circuit, but he is getting on the podium on a couple races this year, including here in Phoenix. 185 points for him. Christian Lundgaard is 182 points. Josef Newgarden, 162 points there on the Indy road course. Of course, next race for IndyCars, well, it's the Indianapolis 500. That's coming up in a couple weeks on May 24th. So there are technically no races the next couple weeks, but there is an Indy 500 schedule that we'll give you coming up later in the program. All week long here this week, there's practice going on leading into qualifying. Before next week, they'll take a few days off there leading up into the Indy 500 weekend. So we'll give you that Indy 500 schedule and what they're doing on the track later in the show, of course, when we look ahead to IndyCar racing coming up. So that happened, and then NASCAR was on the road course there at Watkins Glen. On Friday afternoon, our time here on the West Coast, like a 1:30 race here as well. And if you saw last week's show, well, I showed you Caden Honeycutt after the race there at Texas. He was very upset that he couldn't get a win, and of course he lost to 2 Cup Series guys coming down in that race on that NASCAR Truck Series. He has been racing really, really well. And I told you last week, his win is coming. I told you he was going to win several times this year. Well, it just took one additional week here for my prediction to come true. At least that he was winning soon. I like the way him and his team are running, Caden Honeycutt. Well, he did pull off his first career victory, and he did it over 2 drivers who have dominated NASCAR's road courses and dominated the O'Reilly Series and Cup Series racing at Watkins Glen as well over the past 2 years, and they of course won this weekend as well. Of course, we're talking about SVG and Connor Zilic as well, Van Ginsbergen and Zilic. So he got the win over those guys as well. Well, Honeycutt grabbed the lead from Connor Zilic through a very tight turn one. On the first lap of overtime, he pulled away for his first victory in the in the Truck Series, in Friday's race there at the Glen. A few hours earlier, which I find interesting, Caden Honeycutt had actually won the ARCA race on that same 2.45-mile Watkins Glen circuit. So with the Truck Series win, he became the second driver to win both the ARCA race and the Truck Series event on the same day. He did join Sam Mayer, by the way, in that distinction. Sam Mayer did that in 2020 back at Bristol. And look, that's a big day. 2 wins on the same day and getting across it. Very emotional win for him as well. But it wasn't an easy victory for Caden Honeycutt at all. He drew a penalty near the end of the second stage. He pitted when pit road wasn't open yet. It was still closed, and it was forced to restart that final stage, which was a 32-lap final stage there at Watkins Glen. He had to start from the rear of the field. A series of cautions, restart violations by Ross Chastain, Gio Ruggiero. Well, those both helped Honeycutt on his march back to get to the front of the field. Ruggiero's infraction, while leading on lap 69, well, it put Honeycutt on the front row next to who the leader was at that time, Connor Zilic, for this overtime restart. Well, in that restart, Zilic chose the outside lane for the shootout. Green-white checker shootout, as always in the Truck Series. But he lost the top spot, Connor did, to Honeycutt as they navigated that right-hand first turn, as I told you, turn 1 into that. Well, enough of me explaining it to you there. Let's look at it. The overtime win, Truck 1, please.
Caden Honeycutt side by side. Neither one has won in the Truck Series. Here comes AJ Allmendinger to make it 3 wide into turn 1.
Look, Caden, a little bump there to the 71. He's going to have the advantage going into turn 2.
It is clear. Look at Caden Honeycutt out front. 2 more corners in sight for Caden Honeycutt. Can he hold off Connor Zilic?
What a drive.
What a drive.
He's come from the back to the front. Out of turn 7. Checkered flag in the air. Caden Honeycutt is a winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
You can tell the emotion for sure.
Oh my God!
Dominating win there for Caden Honeycutt when all said and done over, like we said, a street race dominating driver there with Connor Zilic right behind him, or several seconds behind him in this case as well. Hey, you win your first race? Well, we'll check in with you after the race. Obviously, the truck race is on Fox Sports, so that's where we get this interview with Caden Honeycutt after the race. Truck 2, please.
It's amazing. Thank you, Toyota, this whole 11 crew. Thank you, Trent Slugger, Matt Buchet, Scott, everyone that believed me to take this truck over after Corey that last year. It's just amazing. I can't believe I just won on a road course. It's just unbelievable. Thank you, Safe Flight, Foster Love, Toyota, Tricon, everyone, our partners, man. It's unbelievable. My pit crew is the best pit crew there is in that pit area, and they did a great job all day. Thank you so much. Thanks to Scott. I wish I could hug him, but I'm sure he's wobbling his way over here. But just unbelievable. I cannot believe I just won a road course.
I mean, you see the emotion there. First win, and then it's a road course on top of it with SVG in this field and Connor Zilic as well. And actually holding Connor off is an amazing feat for him. You saw the emotion there as well. Let's check into that finish order here with Caden Honeycutt, obviously in the first spot. Connor Zilic into second. Shane Van Gisbergen finished third here in this race. Connor Zilic actually led 28 laps of this. Caden Honeycutt only led those final 2 in that overtime restart for him. Daniel Hemrick finishes in fourth place there with 5 laps led. Chandler Smith, AJ Allmendinger did end up racing sixth here in this race. Brent Cruz, the young rookie, what is he, 18, 19 years old? Yeah, had a good day out there. Led 19 laps here in this race. Brent Cruz did. I'm telling you guys, this is a young, up-and-coming, fun little driver to watch there in this truck series as well. Brent Cruz Then you had Tyrell, Brandon Queen, Connor Mozak, Jake Garcia there in the 11th spot as well. Corey LaJoie getting some footing behind him, taking over that truck, Corey LaJoie at the 12th place finish for him as well. Gio Ruggiero ended up 15th after his incident. Christian Eckes there in 16th as well. Tyler Ankrum, right? Some big names here, finishing 17th. Stuart Friesen coming in 18th as well. Lane Riggs in 21st. Thought he would have a better showing. Even Ty Majeski, 24th for him as well for Ty Majeski. So some big names in the playoff hunt on this road course, struggling a little bit out there as well. Let's look at those championship points here. Truck 4, please, for the championship points. Caden Honeycutt, well, look at that. First place there, 312 points. Chandler Smith, 283, right behind him in that second spot. Lane Riggs and Gio Ruggiero. Christian Eckes with their disappointing runs here. Well, they're right there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There are plenty of racing to go in the Truck Series. You got Ben Rhodes, followed by Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, who had a great finish here in this race, and Daniel Hemrick did. And then Stuart Friesen on the last spot there in the 10th spot in the Truck Series for him. Then you got the guys outside looking in here with plenty of races to go. But Jake Garcia, Brendan Queen, Justin Haley, Andres Perez de Laura, they're in the 14th spot. Tanner Gray, kind of going the wrong way here in terms of championship points lately. He's in that 15th spot. So, of course, top 10 make it to the playoffs for the Truck Series. Kind of where we're updated here after the road course there. And road courses will, change up the point standings a little bit, as some people just don't race the road courses very well out there. Next up for the Truck Series, well, it's Dover this weekend. And Dover is a concrete 1 mile. It's quick, it's fast. Truck Series headed there as well. More on Dover, though, when we look ahead later on in the show in terms of the Truck Series. I want to get into this O'Reilly Series race as well here at Watkins Glen. Look, there was a last corner pass. Connor Zilic didn't have the best car out there. His car was beat up, damaged. Well, Connor Zilic preserved his perfect record at Watkins Glen International. He ran down Jesse Love after pitting with 25 laps left. Well, it was another close finish here in terms of passing. We talked about this at the Indy race there, at the Indy road course. Zilic caught up to Jesse Love with 25 laps left. Zilic shot past Love as well. When they kind of in the turn 7 in this racetrack, and then he run the drag race to the finish line to win Saturday's O'Reilly race there. Well, Connor Zilic won it by 0.262 seconds over Jesse Love as well. It was Zilic's third straight win at Watkins Glen. Again, 2.45 mile road course. It's his third straight win. It's also every time he's raced at this racetrack, Connor Zilic has won. It's his second win in his 5th O'Reilly Auto Parts Series start of the season. 13th win of his career after dominating last year as well. Zilic, Terry Labonte, Marcos Ambrose. Those are 3 names, and Zilic joins those other 2 there as the only drivers with 3 consecutive O'Reilly Series victories there at Watkins Glen. It's not an easy thing to do. For the 70th straight race, on a side note, Junior Motorsports. Sierra Motorsports there, they put at least 1 car in the top 10. That's 9 short of RFK's racing record that happened from 2008 to 2010. Junior Motorsports also collected its 11th straight road course victory, with Connor getting that win. The victory was a product of Zilic's pursuit of Jesse Love. Jesse Love pitted on lap 48 of 72. He had to save fuel the rest of the way, and that allowed Zilic from 18 seconds back, chopping full seconds off per lap of Love's lead over those 25 final laps. It was just a methodical mowing down and catching Jesse Love and getting the win. With 6 laps left, if I can say it properly, Zilic did hit the grass. He sped through the bus stop chicane. He damaged all that undercarriage of the car, and that's where he didn't have the most perfect car here to finish up this race. Well, he had to adjust to the way the car was feeling at that point as he was running it. And he was in that number 1 car. But Zilich had to adjust to it, and he did continue his pursuit. He did close even more on Jesse Love. These guys are close friends, by the way, as well. On that final lap, Zilich made up significant ground through the bus stop. He even took advantage when Love ran wide through the final quarter to get the win and get the lead, and then drag race to the win. Well, I just explained it to you. What did I do that for? We can just look at it. O'Reilly won, please.
Ahead, Jesse Love leading Connor Zilich. And he is there. Look at the gap, how it's condensed.
8/10 of a second quicker that last lap. He's going to be there right at the last turn, probably exiting the carousel.
Oh, little traffic, get out of the way.
Oh, that lap car is going to play. Oh, he got out of the way. That's great.
Jesse Love in the lead there in the red car. Connor Zilich is in the second place car, the yellow car.
Watch this into the braking zone. How much ground Connor's been able to make up.
But he's not quite close enough to make a move, but it's all about just trying to get that rear bumper to set.
Look at how much he's gaining. Wow, he's gonna have a shot.
Oh, he's gonna have a shot. Zilich is right there, exiting the bus stop to the carousel, around a lap car. Big finish coming here at Watkins Glen.
Love's almost gonna have to get on the defensive mode here into turn 6. Saw the back of that car get sideways. Oh, it's gonna be close.
How late do you dare brake if you're Jesse Love to not let him get there? From turn 5 to turn 6.
Next turn, watch this.
Defend a little bit here into the last turn.
Turn 7, Zilich is there. Oh, he overcooked it. Connor to the inside.
Oh my God, he got inside of him.
Zilich racing it back to the line. Drag race to the finish. Connor Zilich, 3 in a row at Watkins Glen. What a comeback.
That is really exciting racing there. You saw Jesse Love there in the front in the red car. His car started to slide from behind on the last couple turns. And eventually on that final turn, Connor Zilich was able to get underneath him. And, of course, win the race there to that finish line. Let's check with Connor Zilich. 3 in a row at Watkins Glen. 3 starts, 3 wins. Well, after the race, Connor spoke, of course, with CW, who gives us the O'Reilly race. Here he is, Connor Zilich. O'Reilly 2, please.
Yeah, that was driving as hard as I could for all 30 of those laps and just trying to make up that gap. And I wasn't going to move Jesse in the last corner there, but, he got in deep and I was able to get by. But, yeah, man, it's so cool to come back and get my 3rd win at Watkins Glen in a row with JRM. Cool to get it with Rodney. It's my 3rd different crew chief here. So really means a lot to get another one here and get out of the car safely and make it onto the ground without trying to kill myself. So, yeah, it means a lot. I don't know what happened with Shane on pit road. I felt bad about that. I need to see a replay, but, cool to have so many JRM cars running up front at points of that race.
Yeah, he had an incident with Van Gisbergen there on pit road. Didn't see what happened. Kind of a racing deal there, I think. Kind of got it through that as well. Hey, Jesse Love went into that final lap with the lead as we just showed you there. Well, let's check in with Jesse Love after the race on his thoughts. Again, CW, thank you for the video. O'Reilly 3, please.
Yeah, Dylan, when you really nickel and dime it, right, there's 100 little small mistakes, right, that, let him get close. And at the end of the day, the glaring piece of it is I hit a bad corner. Yeah.
How tough were those closing laps? Even when he was closing in on you, you were trying to manage your own fuel number and a lot of other things, certainly, behind the wheel.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenging but, good experience for me. I've never saved fuel before on a road course. But, what a good mental challenge for me. I mean, all I want to do is beat Connor here, right? And we're best friends and we've caused each other a lot of pain. And yeah, I didn't execute when I needed to, and I think the reason I'm so quiet is I'm just embarrassed, right? As a driver, you can't make those mistakes, and it was such such a bad mistake. It's just embarrassing. So I know that I'll learn from this and be better because of it, but I let down a lot of people, including myself, most importantly, and maybe it's probably a good idea for me to feel this pain right now.
I mean, look at that. Look at that there, right? Leading that lap, going into the final lap there, losing that race. And then on top of it, like you said, right, you want to beat your best friend the most. Remember, they had a big battle there in Phoenix at the championship race where Jesse Love was able to beat Connor Zilic. And I remember distinctively in that media session afterwards, him talking about, like, he's going to be upset about it, and I don't know when I'm going to talk to him about it and things. Now it's kind of switched here, right, for Watkins Glen for that win, but emotional second place finish there for Jesse Love as well. Kind of a comical moment here as well after the victory. If you remember last year, Connor Zilic got out of his car after a victory, went to stand up on top of his car, slipped, fell down, broke his collarbone, had to miss a race or two as he was recovering from that. Well, with this victory, he climbed out very carefully from his car. He was determined not to, of course, fall again from the window ledge that cost him that broken collarbone last year. It was a funny little thing. He gets out and he kind of sat down on top of the car with his feet in the window, got down on the ground. But it was even more funny that the team, they put a giant pillow down underneath the driver's side window. So when he came out to kind of symbolize a pillow's there if you do fall coming out. It was a funny little moment there with the victory, as well as people don't let you forget when you mess up and get injured doing dumb things or messing up and doing that type of thing after celebration there. So that was a funny little moment. And let's hope the finishing order here in the O'Reilly series. So this will be O'Reilly 4. Now that we're talking about, as we said, Connor Zilic, Jesse Love, 1-2 there. Taylor Gray coming in third. Ross Chastain ended up coming in fourth here in this race. Then you got Brandon Jones, Brent Cruz again, folks, right there in that sixth spot. Parker Retzlaff, Shane Van Gisbergen in there in the eighth spot. He led 7 laps in this race, but oh boy, will he get his revenge in the Cup Series race on a Sunday. But he ends up in 8th place here as well. Austin Green there in 9. Justin Allgaier finished 10th for him. Other big names, Austin Hill 11th, Roger Carew 12th, Sam Mayer 13th, Carson Wappel there in 14th. Corey Day comes in at 15th place. Then you got Sammy Smith as well in 16th, Harrison Burton in 17th. Look at that big run there of O'Reilly guys in the playoff hunt all in a row. They're outside of the top 10. Sheldon Creed came in 29th here on this race. I believe a lap down, if I do remember correctly, for him. Kyle Sieg, who's fighting for a playoff spot there. William Salwich, though, came in 36th. Only 15 laps completed before his engine went out for him as well. And to finish the Kyle Sieg spot, 31st place for him as well for Sieg. Let's throw up the championship points here now as well. O'Reilly 5 and see where we stand after Watkins Glen International. They're from New York last weekend. Well, it shouldn't shock you. Justin Allgaier, well, even with that 10th place finish, well, he's in number 1 here in the championship standings. 640 points now for him. Sheldon Creed, very disappointing day. Well, he finished in second in the playoff points right now, but he is a very big distance behind Justin Allgaier for that one spot. Jesse Love finishing second, moves up to that 3rd spot. Then you got Brandon Jones, Corey Day, Sammy Smith, Austin Hill, Carson Quapple, Parker Retzlaff, Taylor Gray. The reason I said those names, including Brent Cruz and Sam Mayer, they were all in a line there here at Watkins Glen, and they're all trying to stay on the positive side here of the cut line. That is 1 through 12. Outside the cut line, well, William Salwich with that engine injury did himself no favors in that 13th spot. Outside looking in, Roger Caruth there in the 14th spot. Ryan Sieg in the 15th spot, followed by Brennan Poole there as well. So look, some battery. Now it's plenty of racing to go. Don't get me wrong on that. Nobody's in danger of being eliminated technically as of yet. A lot of racing to come our way. But bad days can really set you back there and kind of have to climb out of that hole. Hey, the CW earned 1,013,000 total viewers for that Saturday's race there in the O'Reilly series. viewership peaked at 1.18 million total viewers. Obviously, in the closing laps, when Connor Zilisch and Jesse Love were battling it out there for the win. The first 13 O'Reilly races in here this year, well, they've all eclipsed 1 million total viewers. The CW did beat Fox's head-to-head coverage of IndyCar by 54% in total viewers. They were matched up at the same time, overlapped a little bit. 54% win for the CW in the O'Reilly Series there at Watkins Glen. Next up for the O'Reilly Series, Dover this weekend again. That concrete 1 miler, it's going to be a fun race coming up. We'll talk about that later in the show, but we still got to finish up looking at the Cup Series from last weekend. This was an amazing day here for one gentleman. And Shane Van Gisbergen, if you don't know or if you doubt it, he's just proved to you, in my opinion, he is the best road course racer NASCAR has ever seen. And it's not even close with what he did on Sunday. He proved it here at Watkins Glen. You can still fight it if you want to, but folks, he is just the best out there. He beat runner-up Michael McDowell to the finish line, SVG did, to win the race. He won the race by 7.288 seconds. Huge victory for him as well. But even then, he ran down late race leader Ty Gibbs, who was fuel saving as well and on old tires, getting older by the second. He did beat Ty Gibbs as well. He made up 29.2 seconds in the final 18 laps there at the 2.45-mile course. We'll talk more about specifics here in just a minute. Van Gisbergen did score his 7th NASCAR Cup Series victory. All of them on road or street courses. Has not won on an oval yet. This is his first win this season. And he was a defending Watkins Glen winner coming into the race. And he has raced fairly well, especially earlier in the season on ovals. He wins some of these street and road courses throughout the rest of the season and just runs the way he's been running on the ovals. He's qualifying for the playoffs coming up. And with this new format, can't get eliminated. He's got a shot with a couple road courses in the playoffs later on. So how did he get to that win more specifically? He built a lead of more than 6 seconds before making that green flag stop on lap 76. He left the pit road after making that green flag stop, 6-second lead. He leaves pit road more than 29 seconds behind Ty Gibbs and Connor Zilisch. Van Gisbergen went through the field to get back up front and did it with relative ease as well. Now, Gibbs and Zilisch were doing what Jesse Love was doing, saving fuel after pitting on lap 61. So about it was an 8-lap difference there between pits, meaning SVG was 8 laps later. And also, Zilisch and Gibbs were racing on tires that were degrading and getting worse and worse as the race was going on. Well, Connor Zilisch, well, he dropped from contention. That was on lap 92. Had a flat right front tire at that time. If those tires gave up, obviously out of the race there to win this thing at that point. Well, 1 lap later, Van Gisbergen, well, he went past Ty Gibbs, kind of forced his way by him, but I mean, Ty Gibbs could do nothing to keep the lead. And then SVG stretches his advantage up to that 7-second finish at the end of it. Ty Gibbs couldn't stay in front with his fuel savings going on, just couldn't fight him, couldn't push it at all to get there. Well, like I said, 7-second win. You can imagine how the race to the checkered flag looks. It's just him running. So let's skip the white flag run and let's just go to, thanks to Fox Sports here also with the race here and their coverage. Let's go to SVG after the race. Cup 1, please.
Yeah, you're right. Unbelievable to win with 97. Yeah, Superfoal Chevy was great. Thank you to Trackhouse. We weren't very good in practice, and then qualifying was amazing. Good tweaks, and then today, so what a race car. And then Stephen made great calls. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, and then to run them down like that, very, very special to do 2 in a row.
So the race featured 6 lead changes in this race among 4 drivers. How dominant was Van Gisbergen? Well, he led 74 of the 100 laps. Gave up that 6-second lead for a 29-second deficit, and then got up there. Ty Gibbs, he had 17 laps led in this as well. There were 4 cautions for 12 total laps here as well. So let's hope the finishing order here of the Cup Series win. As I said, Shane Van Gisbergen in the first spot, dominating win him with those 74 laps led. Michael McDowell comes in second for him. Ty Gibbs in third. Chase Briscoe in fourth. Tyler Reddick continuing his unbelievable season here in the fifth spot for him. Austin Dillon in sixth. AJ Allmendinger, good finish and good weekend for him. He can run these road courses very well. He finished in seventh place. Kyle Busch with the top 10, finishing in eighth. On Austin Cindric in ninth. John Hunter Nemechek there in 10th as well for the top 10. You notice a lot of big names haven't been mentioned yet on this road course. Ryan Blaney was 11th. Chris Buescher there with RFK in the 17 cars, 12th. Daniel Suarez is 13th. Ryan Preece, 14th. Cole Custer. Denny Hamlin, another big name there, at 16th. Then you got Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith, Eric Jones. Connor Zilic ends up at 20th here in this race. Then you got Christopher Bell. I expected bigger things from him in this race. He was there. Noah Gragson, Kyle Larson, 23rd. Chase Elliott, 24th. Alex Bowman, 25th. Let's just get those Hendrick guys all in a row there, right? Riley Herbst, then Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, 29th. Brad Keselowski, 30th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 31st. You got Josh Berry, Ty Dillon. And then you got William Byron there in 36. He did finish 3 laps down for him. Joey Logano, 38th there. He was running, only completed 85 laps with all of his problems that he had there at Watkins Glen as well. So lots of big-name guys finishing toward the backside here in this race. Well, what does that do for championship points? Let's take a look here. Cup 3, please. After Watkins Glen here, the road course. Headed into the non-Cup, non-points race here coming up, the All-Star race for the Cup Series this weekend. We got Tyler Reddick, no doubt, still leading this points race here, and a big lead over Denny Hamlin in that second spot. Chase Elliott with his 2 wins this year in third. Then you got Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs with his win, Carson Hocevar, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace there in 11th, William Byron, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, and then SVG with this win goes from the outside looking in, gets into that 16th and final playoff spot. Plenty of racing left to go, but Joey Logano is going the wrong way. So is Ross Chastain down there. Chase Briscoe's in the 17th spot. Joey Logano is 38 points from the cut line right now. Ross Chastain there 19th there, 47 points from the cut line. Then AJ Allmendinger coming in at 20th on the outside looking in. Joey Logano, I think, will be in the playoff hunt at the end, but he's got to figure out and get this turned around coming up. Next up, the All-Star race is happening this weekend for the Cup Series, guys. That's also happening in Dover. First time the All-Star race is at Dover after it's been at North Wilkesboro the last 3 or 4 years, I believe. Before that, Charlotte for a lot of years. So when we come back here on the pit stop this week, well, we'll look at the news around IndyCar and NASCAR. Lots of it out there. Then we'll look ahead at Dover this weekend. I'll even get you updated on what's happening around Indianapolis as they are getting ready, just a couple weekends away from the Indianapolis 500. Come on back. It's the pit stop. pit stop, and woo-wee, what a look back there at Watkins Glen last weekend and the IndyCar road course. Well, now we'll go through the news and look ahead to this weekend's racing over at Dover as well. Speedway coming up. Don't forget, join us on X, the Pit Stop Talk for this show. You can join us on demand on YouTube at TME Media AZ. And also, if you don't like YouTube, all of our programming is on demand over at Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media. I know a lot of you reached out and said you don't like YouTube, you don't like to go to that. Well, it's all available over there at Rumble as well, including the Real Matrix that comes out on Fridays. Everything's on demand at YouTube as well, except for the Real Matrix. Of course, you want to subscribe to the YouTube page, TME Media AZ. We're doing some live stuff there with McCollum on Business in the main event. We also are going to be doing some other stuff on there that you're going to want to be notified of when it comes up, some other small show ideas, etc. So you want to follow that page, follow TME Media AZ on X as well. Just the parent company, tell you what we got going on around here and what's coming up for you and what's happening around the company that we have here as well. Of course, everything's on demand at Robat TV as well for you folks. And, if you follow us, give us a holler, communicate with us. We just like talking to you and communicating with you throughout all of the shows as well out there. So rumble.com/user/TME Media. Don't forget that for you Rumble users, TME Media AZ for you YouTube users. Before we look ahead to racing this weekend, though, let's get you updated on the news surrounding racing right now. A lot of it out there, including IndyCar. Well, we have the first female trying to complete the double header coming up. Catherine Legge will attempt the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 double coming up on May 24th. She's becoming the sixth driver ever to take on the 1,100-mile challenge. First female to do it as well. Coming up and see how she can do here with IndyCar. Is there weather delays like Kyle Larson kind of ran into? Transportation over, it's a logistics thing. And she's also the first non-American, by the way, to attempt this as well. Everybody else has been an American driver to attempt Indy 500 and into Coca-Cola 600 coming up. We're only a couple of weeks away, right? Away from Fox no longer having the broadcasts of the NASCAR races and moving over to Amazon Prime with the start of the Coca-Cola 600 in just a couple weeks as well. So other news breaking this week. Well, we're kind of getting a glimpse and a first piece of the 2027 NASCAR schedule. I know we're barely halfway, not even halfway through this year's NASCAR season, but we did find out last week, Watkins Glen International, they actually announced before the race that its race weekend will be moved to September next year, which means Watkins Glen will be part of the playoffs here for the 2027 season as they announced that out there. Watkins Glen's track president, Don Burlow, first announced the news at an event welcoming campers to the grounds for that weekend's racing at Watkins Glen last weekend. An exact date wasn't specified. They just said September, but they did indicate that NASCAR Cup Series race will take place in one of the earliest slots in the 10-race chase next year. It's a playoff race. Also, it's kind of intriguing because it's a shift back to a more traditional date on the NASCAR schedule for Watkins Glen. It always plays host, or at least it used to a rare springtime event this weekend, or last weekend is what they did. More of a fall race out there and moving back to that time frame and being part of an early playoff race next year, confirmed here and announced by Watkins Glen last week. Then, next year's schedule, we're hearing this as well. Breaking news here on Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Well, NASCAR's making progress toward bringing back a race downtown Chicago coming up here for the Premier Series. Multiple industry sources reporting that here as well. Even The Athletic, Jordan Bianco, of course, Jeff Gluck retweeting that out there. J-Ski reporting it as well. And Chicago Road Course could be coming back next year. Of course, this year they're going to Chicagoland. What does that do with Chicagoland? What track gets dropped if you're going to the Chicago Road Course again as well down there in Chicago? There was caution, though. There's been no finalized deal between NASCAR and the city as of yet, but they do say there's growing optimism that the Chicago Street Course will be included in the 2027 schedule coming up. So 2 races. San Diego isn't going to happen next year. Probably this is a 1 week San Diego event there on the naval base. Is what I've always kind of thought. We'll see. That brings Chicago back into it in terms of that street race. What does that do for Chicagoland? Do they move away from Chicagoland again? Kind of the question. This is kind of older news here, but it happened after our show last week. RFK Racing did appeal the 25-point penalty and $50,000 fine that Ryan Preece received. That was that race there at Texas Motor Speedway where he got into Ty Gibbs. He was fined and punished, whereas later in the race, of course, Kyle Busch not punished for wrecking into his opponent there in that race. They are appealing it as of showtime here. No update on if there is an update on the appeal process and if it's going to be upheld or shrunken down or what the situation is. So he did, in fact, though, appeal it. RFK did as well. So their exact wording was RFK Racing has decided to appeal the penalties issued by NASCAR against Ryan Preece. The statement went on to say, we appreciate the opportunity to share our findings with the National Motorsports Appeals Panel at the appropriate time. Additionally, our organization respectfully embraces the forum provided by NASCAR to present our case. Right? A little bit of being nice there before they go and present their case. No update as of showtime if that has changed, if the appeal holds up, or what the situation is. So, that's where you got to follow me on the Pit Stop Talk on X. Get all that information out to you during the week between the showtimes. Well, Hayek Motorsports. I had some question marks a few weeks ago on if Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was going to have a ride next year. Well, Hayek Motorsports said they're excited to announce a multi-year contract extension this week with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., obviously keeping the veteran of the NASCAR Cup Series behind the wheel of the number 47 Chevrolet. They say for the foreseeable future. We don't know how many years the deal is other than multi-year. Stenhouse has delivered consistent performances in that car throughout his time with that Hayek organization. Of course, won the 23 Daytona 500, the 2024 fall race at Talladega as well. So multi-year extension there for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for that smaller team out there. And then, well, this Sunday, All-Star Race. We're about to talk about it here. We'll get through the truck. We'll get through the O'Reilly Series. We'll get through the IndyCar information. But the 2026 NASCAR All-Star Race is taking place at Dover this Sunday. Still time to vote. You can vote one driver into the contest that hasn't qualified for it or doesn't qualify for it. Well, it's still available. Go to NASCAR.com. Get your votes in for who you want to see in there. As of May 11th, the top 5 vote getters are, and these are alphabetical order. We don't know their votes, excuse me. Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Noah Gragson, Ryan Preece, and Connor Zilic are all guys, top 5 vote getters. Alphabetical there. I'd like to see Chris Buescher in this race. Alex Bowman missed a lot of time with his injury. But I'd like to see Chris Buescher and see what he can do in an all-star race as well. Connor Zilic wouldn't be a bad one either. Get on NASCAR.com and get your vote in there as well. So now that news is all done, we'll look ahead to racing and what's happening on the track. And we're going to talk a little IndyCar, even though they're off this weekend in terms of racing, in terms of a race. Well, they're off until May 24th. That's the Indy 500 day. But there's tons going on at Indianapolis racetrack leading up to the Indy 500. If you don't know, it's kind of like Daytona, where there's a lot of events, a lot of practices, qualifying, carb day, a lot of things leading up to the Indianapolis 500 that you can watch. And these cars on the practice, up on that track for practice by themselves, are Alex Palou on Tuesday of this week winning the practice day, and he was fast out there. Practice is all this week through Thursday. You can catch it on either FS2, FS1, or regular Fox. It kind of switches between those channels, but it's all on Fox Sports through Thursday. Friday the 15th coming up this Friday. Well, it's Fast Friday out there. You can catch that on all of the Fox Sports channels as well. Saturday, though, starts qualifying throughout the day, also on Fox Sports. Who's qualifying them for this race? A lot of teams trying to qualify their way in. Your starting position as well is very important in this race. That starts on Saturday. Big, long day of qualifying there for the Indianapolis 500. Then this Sunday, May 17th, that's pole qualifying. That'll also happen. 4 p.m. Eastern Time is when that'll happen. 1 p.m. here on the West Coast for pole qualifying. Then next Monday, before we do another show, that's another practice day there at Indianapolis 500 for everybody that's qualified and ready to go in this race. Well, then all activities on the racetrack itself will be done until Friday, May 22nd. Of course, we'll be back and doing a show next week. So we'll talk about leading up to the race Friday, Saturday, and then the race day over the weekend as well, which the race is May 24th. We'll talk about all that next week on the pit stop leading into the Indianapolis 500 race weekend coming up. Now, of course, this weekend, NASCAR is over at Dover, as we've been telling you all show long. Well, let's look ahead to the racing this weekend. Specifically, Dover, it's known as the Monster Mile. The fastest mile is what they call it. It's a 1-mile concrete track. It is a challenging track because it's fast, it's short. Concrete just gives you different issues than asphalt does as you drive around on this racetrack. This is a hard-fought race. It's an all-star race this weekend for the Cup Series. Everybody else is a points race out there. Let's get it started with the truck race. First race for the Truck Series at Dover since 2020. So a lot of these young kids haven't raced here in a truck in the NASCAR circuit. Now, some Cup guys are coming down, which obviously will have an advantage. That race is on Friday night. So Friday morning practice is between 11 and 11:50 a.m. in the Eastern time frame, which means 8 to 8:50 a.m. here on the West Coast. Qualifying begins at noon, 12:05 to 1 p.m. there for the Truck Series on the East Coast. Eastern time there, 9 to 10 a.m. here on the West Coast. Then the race is 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Eastern time there on Friday means another late afternoon or early afternoon race here at Dover for the Truck Series for those of us on the West Coast. 2 p.m.-ish green flag coming up on Friday as well. So notable drivers racing in the Truck Series at Dover. Well, Kyle Busch, he dominates this Truck Series. He didn't win his last time running in the Truck Series, finished second, but he is good, and he's won multiple times here at Dover as well. Clint Boyer coming down and running into this race as well, coming out of retirement in the booth to race in this Truck Series on Friday night. Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Carson Hocevar, all coming down and racing from the Cup Series into this Truck Series as well. There's even 3 women drivers racing this weekend. At Dover, Natalie Decker gets into a truck. Tony Bredinger and then Destiny Spurlock getting into a truck as well this weekend. A lot of coverage of those young ladies here racing in this Truck Series this weekend. As I said, Kyle Busch didn't win his last truck race. He dominates the Truck Series. He did it when he raced in it. He dominates it when he comes down into it as well. Can he regain that momentum and get across the finish line first coming up on Friday? Overwhelming favorite going into the weekend with the way he races these trucks. He's won the last 3 truck races that he has driven in at Dover. Doesn't mean every race, but the last 3 he's driven, he's won at Dover. Overwhelming favorite. I will tell you this. We don't generally pick overwhelming favorites. We just expect them to win, so we go with best finishers. But if Kyle Busch doesn't win this race, I think it'll be Christopher Bell coming down from the Cup Series as well to win the Truck Series this weekend. But those are the Cup guys. Christopher Bell, if it's not Kyle Busch, is the overwhelming favorite. Christopher Bell will win this race. But if we want to talk in terms of full-time truck drivers going into this race, well, I think the best finisher here at this 1-mile concrete oval is going to be Chandler Smith this weekend. Ty Majeski is a guy that I favor at this type of a racetrack, but he's been struggling this year. I think Chandler Smith's going to get the win, or not necessarily win the race. He's going to have a really good finish in this race. He'll be the top finisher of their full-time Truck Series. I also want to watch our Caden Honeycutt races this weekend. Third place at Texas. Very upset about that. Behind Kyle Larson and I think it was Carson Hostever, but 2 Cup guys there at Texas. Third place, very upset about it. Goes and wins at Watkins Glen on a road course. He's fast on these types of tracks. I want to see how he does after the emotional victory he had last weekend over there at Watkins Glen as well. Then we shift over to the O'Reilly Series this weekend on the concrete oval here at Dover. Dover, Delaware, folks. Practice for the O'Reilly Series will be on Saturday, 9:30 to 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 6:30 to 7:20 a.m. here in the West Coast. Wake up and watch some qualifying and practice. Qualifying for the O'Reilly Series is also on Saturday, 10:35 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That makes it 7:35 to 8:30 a.m. here in the West Coast as well. Then the race here for the O'Reilly Series, well, it's on Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which makes that 1 p.m. here on the West Coast. Green flag will be around 4:07 p.m. there on the east side of things, so 1:07 here on the West Coast. So you can get up on Saturday morning, watch all the pre-race stuff, practice qualifying, a little bit of a break, and then catch the race there early afternoon. Ross Chastain is coming down from the Cup Series to race in the O'Reilly race as well. I think this is going to be a fun race in the O'Reilly Series. You have a lot of guys with speed coming here in this racetrack. Obviously, Justin Allgaier on these short tracks. These short tracks, you're going to be bunched up. You're going to have to spread out. Lots of braking involved here. I do think an experienced driver is probably going to win this, which puts you in, right, Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, for instance, and those types of drivers. Here in the O'Reilly Series, I like the way he ran at Watkins Glen. I like the way he's running a lot of bigger course, just not getting those wins there as well. If you can avoid any damage here at Dover, I'm going to go with Jesse Love to get this win this weekend at Dover in the O'Reilly Series as well. I like the way he's been running lately. And look, he had a big emotional second place, was winning that race until he got past there on the last turn. Very emotional win for him. He's going to come in with some fire behind him and get the win there at Dover coming up. Jesse Love in the O'Reilly Series. Then we got the All-Star race on the Cup side. Exhibition race, no points. Cup standings, point standings, championship points aren't changing this weekend, but there's $1 million on the line here in the Cup Series. Practice Friday, coming up on Friday, 3 to 3:50 p.m. Eastern Time. That means noon to 12:50 here on the West Coast, all on FS2, by the way. Pit Road qualifying entry-exit practice Friday as well, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Fox Sports 1. That's going to be 1 to 1:30 here on the West Coast. Then you got the qualifying, which includes the Pit Crew Challenge. That's going to be on Saturday as well, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Fox Sports 1. You'll want to watch this qualifying because of the Pit Crew Challenge here. We'll talk about that in a second. 9 to 11 a.m. here in Phoenix as well on Saturday. Then the race comes up on Sunday this weekend, May 17th. Dover Motor Speedway, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Early morning race here, 10 a.m. for the All-Star race from Dover. So the All-Star race is a different format than any of the other races out there. It's an exhibition rate, doesn't count toward points, anything to that. But if you win this race, you can win $1 million, which who doesn't want that, right? So Dover in Delaware, it's known as the Monster Mile, the fastest 1 mile, what they call it. It's a new track this year for the All-Star race. Last couple of years, it's been in North Wilkesboro there in North Carolina for the last several years. Before that, Charlotte as well. So we don't know, right? Different track. We know guys have raced this track before at Dover, but different type of All-Star race here being at Dover this year. There's a large emphasis this year. There's no more open for the All-Star race. Large emphasis is all going to be on Saturday's qualifying to set you up for this race coming up. Here's how it works for qualifying. The drivers will take the green flag. They'll run full lap at speed around the 1 mile oval. The second lap, well, it's going to feature the Mechanics Wear Pit Crew Challenge is what you're calling it. We're going to forget the sponsor and just call it the Pit Crew Challenge from here on out. So then they're going to come in, do a pit stop. Each pit crew will perform a single 4-tire stop with no gas on these cars. The drivers will then race back out to the start-finish line. Well, qualifying encompassing the total time from green flag to the checkered flag with that pit stop and no gas in between and 4 tires. The pit crew with the fastest pit stop and no penalties, they'll win the pit crew challenge. The results of determining pit selection order for the All-Star race. This is a big deal. It's also a fun thing to watch, folks, in terms of qualifying. I recommend, if you're into racing, check this out this weekend. Qualifying results will determine the first full field for what they call Segment 1 coming up. This race for the All-Star race is going to have 2 75 laps. They call them sprints when they're this short, but 2 75 laps races. Segment 1, well, your qualifying results will determine the full field for Segment 1, which is that 75 lap as well. Following the conclusion of Segment 1, a second 75 lap dash will occur. The lineup for Segment 2 will be an inversion of Segment 1's top 26. The remaining drivers lined up by finish in the Segment 1 as well. So if you don't win Segment 1 to qualify, good. Well, you get inverted on Segment 2 and then kind of get put at the back there. The 2 75-lap races there to set up how you start the race. Then, of course, the final, what they call 200-lap segment, is basically the 2026 All-Star race. It'll be 200 laps. All 26 drivers will race in this. The field for the final segment of 200 miles, which is the race, it'll include all 2025 and 2026 Cup Series race winners. Then you add in former Cup Series champions who compete full-time on the Cup Series circuit. So like I'm just going to throw a name. I know Joey Logano's won last year. But let's say Joey Logano, because he's been a champion, he's in this race no matter what if he wins another race, right? Because he's full-time. But then you get that fan vote winner, which we gave you the 5 vote getters there in the news section. And then you can get remaining drivers based on the lowest combined finishing positions among segments 1 and 2. So that's why 1 and 2 is important to qualify for this race if you aren't automatically into it. Christopher Bell won the 2025 All-Star race in North Wilkesboro, against a different track. The drivers that are locked into this weekend so far, well, Christopher Bell, Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, SVG, Denny Hamlin, Carson Hocefer, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. All automatically locked into this race. It's an exhibition race. It's made to be fun. The format's different. I do like the format of this. When it comes to the race, some drivers take it easy because they don't want damage. Some don't take it seriously. Other ones are just battling it out there. I'm not a big fan of all-star formats in general, but the formats here with the 75-75, they got rid of the open, and then the 200-mile race. This is going to be a fun little weekend here to watch, at least leading up to that 200-mile race. Then we'll see how they race after that. So who will win this exhibition all-star race? I'm going to go with somebody because I want to see somebody who's had an all-star year win the all-star race. I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick to continue his heck of a season here and get the win. Doesn't count for anything points-wise for the playoffs. Wins the $1 million as well. But I expect him to keep his successful season going here. Get that $1 million payday there at Dover for the all-star race. Tyler Reddick. Hey, you have the season you're having. I expect you to win the all-star race too, senor, on this little short track there at Dover. Yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me here this week for the pit stop. We'll be back next week as well. Get you set up for the Indianapolis 500 weekend. And, of course, look back at the all-star race ahead to more NASCAR fun out there as the season resumes on the point schedule after this weekend's all-star race for them. Truck Series, O'Reilly Series. Ooh, getting to the summer months here, folks. Come and join us next week, but share us with your friends out there. TME Media AZ on YouTube. TME Media AZ on X as well. Pit Stop Talk on X for the show. Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. Plenty of ways to like us, including Robat TV for those of you that subscribe to that. We appreciate you very much. We'll see you next week, everyone. Let's go racing.